Welcome back to part 3 of my Pathways working sessions. In the last section, we were talking about the dashboard inside of your path, looking at level 1 and the 3 projects that are exactly the same for all participants in any path that you start on in level 1, and the process to walk through one of your projects, the 9 steps or flow of a Pathways project, as well as how to tell your Basecamp manager where you are in your process and when you're looking for approval for your level, how that all operates. Before we go any further, I'd just like to click inside of the Icebreaker project. So I'm going to click the Launch button. You can go back into a project at any time as soon as it's been activated. It always takes a little bit of time to open it up because there's a lot of information. So we'll watch it spin for a moment. And you can see that because I have finished this project, I'm on the last page, the congratulations page. I draw your attention to this pull-down menu at the very bottom. If you click the triangle, what you see is all the various elements of this project. And remember, I talked about the introduction, step number 3 after you've launched your project, reviewing your assignment, the pre-assessment, then the learning. This is multiple sections. Then you get to your evaluation, which is where I told you to stop and go and do your outside activity, deliver your speech. Then you have your post-assessment. And then finally, the last page, the congratulations page. This little menu allows you to go back and forward. So if you want to go back to a particular section because you need to review it, you're getting yourself ready for your speech, or later on you go back to this project because you remember there was some information there that was helpful for you, you can always navigate to a specific page within the project by just going to this menu and selecting it. So I could go all the way back to the beginning on the first project and see the navigation screen, and it tells you a little bit about how the buttons work and how to move from page to page. And then I can walk my way forward by clicking the right button and going to the introduction, and so on and so on. So this just helps you understand. Now, if I want to close this project, I just go up to the tab and I close the tab, and I will return to my dashboard where I came from. Let's go to level 3 in this path and talk a little bit about the fact that after level 2, you get to tailor your path a little bit. What do I mean by that? Well, this particular path has one required project. You can see it front and center in level 3. It's called Reaching Consensus. And then you can see in this next section that there are elective projects. So I'm going to view details, click on this button here, and I'm going to go into the elective projects for level 3. Now in this section here, you must complete a minimum of 2 to be considered complete for level 3. And you can see I have completed 2. But there are a total of 14 projects that are available to you. If I move over here on the side, you can see that this particular project I did not choose to do at that time. So I need to activate it if I want to work on that project, but I chose not to at that time. I did open a number of projects and take a look at them before making my final decision. And then finally, you can see the check marks beside using descriptive language as well as effective body language. Those were the 2 projects that I chose to do at the time. Now, because I'm an active Toastmaster and I continue to have access to this path, I am free to do more than the minimum. So I can now go back and work on any of the other 12 projects that are available to me at this level. This way you can continue to get value out of your path, even if you finished a given level. So you're free to do as many of these projects as you would choose, but at a minimum, you must complete 2 in order to move to the next level. So that's one of the beauties of the pathway system. Everything is not required. There are choices to be made, and you're free to choose which ones interest you or provide you the type of learning that you're looking for to further your career or your professional ambitions or whatever they may be. So this is a great way of tweaking the path to make it your own and to get the most value out of it for your particular circumstances. You'll see at levels 4 and level 5, there are the triangles as well. So if I click on level 4, you'll see here that I've got one required project and I've got one elective project, but there are a total of 8 to choose from at this particular level. And likewise at level 5, if I go to level 5, you can see there's one required project and then there's one elective project, and there were 5 choices at level 5. Now let's talk about this last one. There was a change made. This path completion used to be inside of level 5. Somewhere along the line, Toastmasters decided to move this outside. So once you've completed each of the 5 levels, there's still one more project that you have to do, this path completion. So if I click on that, there is just one project. It is required. It's a longer project. I believe it was 8 to 10 minutes in length, and it's reflect on your path. And it's a project where you go through the exercise of looking at the work you did in totality for this particular path, and then taking a look at how did I grow, how did I develop, how did I get value out of this path, did I use it in the best possible way. So that's a little longer speech, and it's a concluding speech, but you do have to do that speech before you can, that project rather, before you can finish the path. When the path is completed, you will be referred to as effective coaching proficient. And that tells people that you are actually finished that whole path from start to finish, and you're moving on to something else. Now, because you own the path, you either paid for it or it was given to you as your first free path, you are free to blank the path out and do it again. All you need to do is to call the education department at Toastmasters International, tell them which path you want to have reset, and they will reset the path so that you can do the whole thing again. Now, you'll learn a little bit later that in order to qualify for the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, the highest award that's available at Toastmasters International, you have to finish 2 complete paths, but they must be unique. So you can't blank out the path you just finished and do it a second time in order to qualify for your Distinguished Toastmaster. But after you've finished your DTM and you've finished a couple of paths, you can reset them and do them over again so that you can continue to hone your skills and to add to the effectiveness of your club by doing proper manual speeches and moving yourself through the levels so that you can help in the Distinguished Club program. So that's just a little tidbit that I've learned along the way. I'm going to go and click on the main menu so that I go back to the home page. And now I'm going to go back into the education transcript again. And this time I'm going to have to open up that effective coaching again. Because what I want to talk a little bit about now is what happens at level 2. So level 2 will be different for each path. These first 2 speeches may be different in your path, but we will all be asked to do at level 2 this project called Introduction to Toastmaster Mentoring. This project is a 5 to 7 minute speech where you talk about your experiences being a mentee, or what we now call a protege. What was your experiences being mentored by someone else? And this is a launch pad to a mini path that is available to all of us. So we will all have to do that one speech at level 2. And when level 2 is completed for you, you then have the option, you don't have to do it, but you have the option to start the mentoring program and work on it alongside your other paths. So if I click on this breadcrumb, I'm going to go back to the transcript, just as if I went to the home page and then clicked on the blue button transcript. And I'm going to go back into completed again. This is a little bit different for you. And the reason why is because here's the Pathway Mentor Program. And I'm going to open it. And you can see, as I look at the dashboard here, that the Toastmaster Pathway Mentor Program, That's the first speech that you did at level 2 of your path. So you will automatically have one check mark if you start the Pathway Mentor Program, because we all had to do this speech, Introduction to Mentoring. There are 3 more projects in this mini path. There is a Prepare to Mentor, there is Mentoring, and then there's Advanced Mentoring. The Prepare to Mentor project gives you time to reflect on your style as a mentor and help understand what it is that you bring to the table when you mentor another fellow Toastmaster. The mentoring project isn't very long, usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks, and it's you mentoring another Toastmaster through one Pathway project and doing a speech on your experience. The last one, the advanced mentoring, will take you at least 6 months. And you again mentor a fellow Toastmaster for a 6-month period and work with them on whatever projects they are doing in that 6-month period. So all told, this mentoring program will probably take you about 8 months, maybe 9 months, depending on your timing. Once you're finished, you will be a Pathways mentor, and you will be able to call yourself a fully trained mentor. Now, obviously, over the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to take some time for us to build up qualified mentors at your club. So Toastmasters International recommends that you continue your mentoring program the way you do it today, but that we gradually start to train our mentors in this new program. This will give us more consistency. People will know how to mentor the way Toastmasters wants us to do it, and it will help us to bring up the skill level of all the clubs by having better mentoring done within. So I do recommend that you do this if you can, but you don't have to do it. It is not an absolute requirement. If I click on the Pathways logo again, which will take me to the main homepage, I'm scrolling down below the blue buttons, and access to that mentoring program will be here in the suggested education. So once you've finished level 2, it will say here, the Pathways Mentor Program, and if you click on it, it will add it to your transcript. If you don't click on it, it'll stay there, and it won't add it to your curriculum, to your transcript, and you won't be working on it at that time. Let's take a little time now to take a look at, actually before I do that, I'm going to go over here to this gear, top left-hand corner, and I'm going to choose the My Account. And I get a single page that comes up here. And this is for the purposes of logging the roles that you have done inside of your clubs. You may have other ways that you do this. Your VPE may keep tabs on it. You may use your free Toast host online calendar. It doesn't have to be done this way, but if you'd like to keep track of which roles you have done, this is a great place to keep them for your own personal needs. There's no time dependency, so you can go back and clean this up over a 6-month period if you like. The way it works is if there's no date in here, you just click the calendar, choose a new date, and then go down and save the page. If you have done the role before, you can see I did this role on March 24th, I first would need to clear it, then open the calendar and put another date in, and that will save the second date into the system. It's a great way to keep track of all this stuff, and one of the reasons why in District 48 is if I go back to the District 48 website and I go over to resources, you can see that we have something called the Full Circle program. This is District 48's way of recognizing people for playing the roles in a good club meeting. So I would recommend that you try to perform all those roles within a 6-month period in your club, and then go to district48.org and fill out this Full Circle program, and you will be given the pin, which is a beautiful pin that, that you can wear with pride at your club meetings. And with that, we'll close out part number 3, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you.